Welcome back, everybody, to Warlord of SBAS plays Torment Ties in Numenera, episode 26. Last time we took almost a full episode to talk to Sir Arthur. Yeah, Arthur. And then we started talking to Theborus. So let's continue talking with Theborus. Hello, Theborus. You're back, he says, as if this were an occasion for surprise. What are you going to do about the weaponized meme that's burning in your mind? Well, I could always kill myself, honestly. I don't think anyone else could carry it. And the alternatives are too horrific to bear. He tilts his glass toward them. I love my colleagues here. But can they handle the words of Quora? I don't think so. Right now I've got them locked into my mental construct. No one has even the slightest idea how to build. Well, my brain's like a maze, so why not? I do have a space in my mind. I can contain the words of Quora here. There. He leans back and crosses his arms. Really? And how is it that you're a better custodian for the words of Quora than I am? I'm more than strong enough. Use the psychic ability to read me. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Aha! Great success. Success. He focuses on you and you feel something like a skittering of spiders across your mind. Ooh, creepy. They plunge inside and suddenly you sense his presence in the labyrinth, and you can feel his mind recoil. He snaps his eyes back to yours. Yes, yes. I think you'd be an excellent vessel. Do not use the word. Keep it contained. You hear me? He leans forward and whispers the word into your ear. It is a beautiful word, and you feel your tongue curling to ship it aloud. Theborus claps his hand across your mouth, his eyes tight on you, and with his mind, he drags the knowledge of the word into the labyrinth, into a disused corner, and he seals it with an image of steel, glass, and dark infinities of space. He leans back, panting. Sayobi. Yes? I need a piece of my mind, cauterized here. He touches his hand to her temples, and she to his, and they lean forward and foreheads touching. See a flare of light, and he cries out in pain, but he doesn't let go. Then, when they release their hold on each other, you see a small smoking hole in his forehead. I couldn't take the chance it would leave a trace of itself in there, he says. It's gone from me. It's your responsibility now. Could you tell me stories about the people in this bar? I can, but I won't. Talk to them yourself. They all have a piece of wisdom that they carry in themselves. I won't dishonor them by telling the stories for them. He scratches under the brim of his head. I can eulogize them, but every story would start like, here's a warrior, selfless or knowing about themselves so they can help the world. But they're all more than that. See if you can get them from a different perspective than me. What can you tell me about this place? Alright. Farewell. So now I have like doomsday words in my mind. That's gonna end well. So no.
Learning begets doing. Or is it the other way?
Yeah. Alright. And let Calistige out of the way. This woman's face seems timeless, neither old nor young, unblemished but somewhat not perfect. Her dark and wavy hair floats like a cloud over to her shoulders. And when she speaks, her voice is musical and almost artificial. I am Zaba, and you are? She concentrates, fingers pressed to her temple. Then her table mates start smiling. She pulls them all away. I'm not actually a mind reader like those two. Just a joker. Mm-hmm. So you're not gonna guess who I am? I don't know who you are, but I can tell you where you're from. Tell me, are you from the area? A small hamlet, slightly isolated, but still within the broader Siz's protectorate? Somewhere near Avon Woods, perhaps? Yeah, let's tell the truth. Actually, I don't know where I'm from. I was born in a falling star. What? How is that you know the language here? You must be particularly observant. Your voice, your inflections, your mannerisms, they speak of someone whose upbringing was based on an older version of Sister Cliff's dialect. That suggests an isolated Adela, or enclave of some sort. So she claimed not to be a mind reader. Zeba's mind is impenetrable. She might as well be one of the bartender's pumps. Well, she might be one of the bartender's pumps if you know what I mean. Sex. Tell me more about yourself. I am Zaba. I hail from the western arches of the reaches of the clock of Kalal, near Mathanas. She bows her head modestly. I've had the opportunity to serve with my fellows here in a number of disturbances, though if you wish to hear more about those conflicts, you must speak with Dama. I am their support with their backup, and if need be, their physical offense. What's going on in this place? It's a fifth eye. It's where the psychics and psionics of Citrus Cliffs have been coming for generations to protect themselves from the noise of the city. Life is easier when you're among friendly people, those of our kind. She laughs. Though not everyone here is technically one of us. Some of the people you see here are manifestations of our minds. Some of them were called here by our minds. Some have come from the other dimensions even. She leans back, tapping a finger on her lips. I have a challenge for you. One of the five of us who own this bar is a projection. Talk to the other veterans of the psychic wars and see if you can figure out which of us is the projection. You can ask each of us only once, so maybe your make your questioning count. Are you the psychic projection? Me? No. Indeed, in fact, I am the projecting him now. It's my power that makes the projection possible. If I were you, I'd focus on physicality. Best of luck. Well, you did just tell me it's a him, so there's one of these group eliminated, all in her. So that's two technically out of the five. Wait, yeah, five. Alright, cool. So we'll find out who the second projection is. Dama of the Bloom. The wispy mustache of this punching middle-aged man would be almost comical if it weren't for the deep and despairing eyes. They are the eyes of a man who has passed through the gates of alien hells and returned, though not necessarily whole. His fingers, tightly wrapped around some fine glassware, are strong and slim. A musician's fingers are a strangler's. You can't read his thoughts of it at all. You might as well try to read the thoughts of a wall before you open your mouth to speak. He says, "What is that place in your head?" It's a labyrinth. A labyrinth. He raises an eyebrow and leans back in his seat. That's a novel construction. He starts ticking items off on his fingers. I've seen people construct psychic fortresses, cathedrals, graveyards, hellscapes, and vortexes from which no life escapes. All dramatic places, all powerful and foreboding, but a labyrinth, well, that's a whole different construction. It speaks of a cunning guile. Do you mind if I take a quick look? Seems like a strange thing to carry and not know anything about. His voice is polished and clean, friendly, but not intent. Go ahead. Whatever. Thanks. Though it's not often the wisest choice to let strangers enter your mind, I'll not do any harm. Might help even. He smiles to take the sting out of his words. Ready? He breathes it in, and suddenly you feel you are a moat tucked inside a gigantic prison, with eyes peering at you from all around. You are held tightly in an enormous fist. You are a flimsy piece of glass held up to the light. Yet something is not utterly. Yet somehow is not utterly terrifying. Yeah, words hard. His words come to you as if from a distance. A shared space, such depths, such twists. It builds itself around your experiences, around those who share it with you. Shared spaces are occasionally dangerous, so I sharpen a part of your mind. His voice draws closer to the pressure. The pressure eases. I didn't probe deeply, but this would be an excellent background if you lured a foe to you. You could trap it within your mind. You could destroy it. Oh, interactions, yes. After you, mind fuck me. Oh. +1 to intellect pool. I is smarter now. He sets the glass down and shakes your hand. I am Dama of the Bloom. He pinches the bridge of his nose. His eyes tight shut, and you feel a gentle and powerful presence around your consciousness. I have a request for you. It might seem strange, but you have an interesting topography to your mind. You might be able to help us. Fifth Eye is home to psychic veterans. We fight incursion of nightmares, I suppose. Nightmares slithering into the city, shared dream space, eating minds and leaving huts behind. We call them the adversaries. We burned them out and cauterized the wounds through which they infected the reality, but I can't shake the nagging feeling that one of them survived and awaits to strike. I trust my intuition and know it's a feeling. It's telling me to ask for your help. Yeah, sure, I'm happy to help.
Making a note.
He breathes a sigh of relief. My thanks. I feel the adversary. I know it's here. I know it's close. It's watching us. But it's hiding its presence, and I fear it will strike when our guard is down. It may well be the fifth eye even now. He shrugs hopelessly. Sadly, our fifth eye is blind. He jerks a thumb at the bartender. It might be that our foe has blinded us, but it might not have shielded itself from you. Look for it and tell me if you find something unusual. I have no idea. That would challenge me to find which of you was a projection, so are you real? Me? I'm as real as they come. He slaps at his belly. Could a projection do that? He pauses. Come to think of it, Zara probably could make one do that. Makes it sound right. Make it sound right too. She's good. But how would you test your other whether a second emanation was real? Touch Zama. Touch him. He doesn't move, and your finger sinks into the flesh. He grins. Satisfied? Zaba said I should focus on physicality. Here's a hint. He reaches out and claps you on the shoulder. His fingers hold tight. Projections play on your expectations, but they're pierced easily. He leans back. Good luck with it. And more questions. Tell me about yourself. I told you they call me of the Bloom. I was born there, and I know nothing of the world outside for the longest time. I thought it was normal to play with patches made of gut and tissue, to hide from slavers in the verticalia, to watch visitants staggering in from other worlds. I learned how to read people there and how to understand them. And one day I left the Bloom and came to Scissors Cliffs, and I discovered the world was a different place than I thought. A better place. That's when I learned to fight. That's why I learned to fight. He gestures at himself. This isn't a warrior's body, of course. Not the usual, in the usual sense. He smiles, and a great pressure wells in your head and vanishes before you can even register alarm. But I'm not usual. No one in the Fifth Eye is. We're psychics, psionics, seers, call us mind benders, or thought rippers. But we're warriors. We keep the minds of the Scissors Cliffs safe from threats they don't even imagine. From threats they don't even imagine. Olmarin growls. They'd go crazy if they did. Not that they are exactly paragons of sanity at the best of times. What is this place? This is the Fifth Eye. You might think of it as a retirement home or a veterans hospital, but it wasn't always this way. Look around you. Gestures at the pipes and the disused machinery. There's a reason we're here. Ask your questions. Can you tell me about the nature of the Fifth Eye? What do you mean when you said it was a veterans hospital? He rests on a nearby wall. It's a solid sound. It's a solid sound. No vibrations. We don't know what this place was, though the pipes and the machinery make it seem like a kind of pumping station. But what it is to us is, well, and then his mind whispers in yours, sanctuary. A crawling sensation like insects under your scalp. This is what the outside world is. You see an image of the city beneath you, writhing with ribbons of light and flare in a million colors. Each of these ribbons is a thought, word, deed, and each calls out for attention. His companions nod. You can continue speaking. When we're here, we can dampen the noise. The voices become voluntary. We can still listen, but it's not instant. Whatever else the building is, it's a shield. Save for our kind. Tell me about the history. The psychically sensitive have been hiding here for generations. The endless battle, the Cobalt Breach, the rising blood, all the great psionic conflicts have victors and the defeated. But more importantly, have the wounded. The veterans, the scars of 1,000 mental battles slip away here. We can let our guards down. He drinks. And so we do. It's a long history. You should write it down sometime, but he shrugs. I'm feeling lazy. Aren't we all? More questions? Tell me about the adversaries. It's a good question, but if I show you, he closes his eyes and you feel an instant nudge in your mind and your vision goes black, replaced by nightmares. You see a void oblivion, a place where black stars hang and shriek with formless rage. Violet lightning arcs through the sky, and you witness enormous masses of pestilent ores raging against each other. Streams of conscious thought rocket from them, and the scream of need, desire, and hatred. Other emotions rise with these, with some mental energy that curl like steam. They brush your consciousness with a touch beslined with the unknowledgeable hungers of an alien mind. These luminous wasps crest through invisible cracks in dimensional walls. New worlds, unsuspecting minds. Brilliant light unfolded in the adversary's decaying orbits. Imprisoned stars winking out forever. They came through the bloom, shining in Tanbarius at the same time. He whispers, "They offer game, riches, promises of the future." I felt their passion and was afraid. They hid my mind from the questing touch. I felt them reach for me, and I cowered in my shell. She lays her hand on Dama's shoulder. Those who didn't hide saw the lure, and they were drawn into the unwinnable mental game, attracted by the light of the adversary's minds. They followed their own dreams into madness. Psychics and normal people alike. The ruin of the city's mind was. She shakes her head. You were wise enough to see beyond the lure and into the danger. You couldn't stand against them yourself, and so you hid. We all did. Not all, he growls. Some stood there. They played their game, got cracked in like glow globes. I felt them die, and their spirits get sucked into a vortex of endless fear. You did the right thing, Dama, and I've told you that before. Fine, he replies, putting his hands away. But you've seen what the adversaries are like now. Inhuman, with no negotiation. They're communicating with us, and we don't understand them. I tell you, if this is their hello, I don't want anything else to do with them. So those of us who survived the initial incursion gathered here. We set aside our differences and we fought back, but not without our own losses. Alright. What are the adversaries? I don't know. What we saw isn't the whole picture. We know that. It's an extrusion into our world. Just a piece of the creature's psychic material. Maybe it's a consciousness unit on its own. Maybe it's self-directed. But my deepest fear is that every adversary we've seen is the smallest piece of a singular entity. And that our pushback is drawing its attention ever so slowly toward us. He shivers. If you ever meet one, you'll know why that frightens me so. How do we fight the adversaries? Are you thinking you might use your labyrinth to trap it? Don't do it. Steeples his fingers under his chin and oh wait, it might work. It might. Looks to Boris and to Zeba. They exchange a wordless communication, and he shrugs. We use a spotter, someone trained to recognize their scent. He'd give them the briefest engagement, enough to whet their appetites, and he'd bring them then to a battlefield of our choosing. The adversary will tempt you with something. It will tap into the parts of your mind you had forgotten. Ignite desire. It will offer bargains, taste of power, and try to draw you toward its way of thinking. The key is to keep control of the imagery and the metaphors your minds conjured together. That's where I come in. Excuse me. That's where I come in. He leans forward on the table, his gant face seeming even more drawn. I'd feed words and stories to our spotter, help him build an internal story that seemed to mirror what the adversary told, and I'd lay a pathway towards our battlefield. He walked down the pathway, and the adversary, who would be extruding string itself into our world right alongside him. He smiles hard and feral. And then we close off the exit and get to work cutting it to pieces. So tell a story, resist the adversary's metaphors, build in the details of your heart and mental space, draw it in, and then use your familiarity with the place to destroy the bastard. He swallows the rest of his drink. If you're going to try, again, I can't emphasize enough that you should seek our help. But if you do it alone, gods, I can't believe I'm saying this. If you do it alone, be careful. Can you tell me about the people here? He smiles a little whistle. Sure, but keep in mind, most of them can hear us. Who did you want to gossip about? The others burst out laughing. He's just around the bar. They've all got their stories. Some of them aren't from the world. Some aren't even real. This was another peal of laughter. He pushes his chin around the room. There's Tabor, Zawa, and Leto, and Ferric. We own the place together. We fought on all manner of wars, battles, and conflicts. We've traveled some, worn esper helmets for others, or projected ourselves across the world. But the worst was the adversaries. They were the true test for all of us. They forged our friendship, tighter than any other experience we could have. Best part is we sacrificed our lives, our friends, and our sanity for a city that'll never know. They keep in mind on with the daily lives and just assume the rush of madness is some effect of the Numenera. Give up the best part of your minds and they don't even care. Doesn't matter to me that what the rabble think. But it'd be nice to at least get some professional recognition. We've been over this, the Boars. We don't do it for ourselves. We do it because it's the right thing. Yeah, let him continue. Saving the lives of people who flinch when they see me coming. I love seeing mothers snatch their children from my path. Clearing the insects from my bed was the next important step in knowing that I took action because the ingrates are so close won't even sell me a damn clean sheet. If they were dead, at least I could steal their sheets. Why do you think the adversaries would go after once all the citizens were dead, friend? You think they've got headed out into the world, leaving your mind glowing bright behind them? I could shield myself, no problem. I did it when they came out, remember? Just like you. Yes, I did, but I found help, and we hunted those bastards down and what most of them out. You, if you were alone here, you get tired of having to hide your true self around them and start cursing at them just so they'd notice you. He turns and holds his hands up. You see what I have to put up with? Ask for a minute. While they're kind of respecting instead, I get mockery. I don't know why we pay any attention to the old Gallaglass. Alright. Well, that's time right now, so I'll finish talking to him in the next episode. So until next time, remember, embrace the chaos, or you'll go mad. Bye.